For our next keynote, you'll be hearing from Simone Dominici, CEO of Kiko Milano, interviewed by Diana Lee, Director of Research and Analysis at the Business of Fashion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simone as well. I'm super excited today to talk about the amazing transformation, both from a cultural and digital perspective, that Kiko Milano has been on as a brand, and also about the exciting new developments that are at play. Now, I'm based in London. I've been to 3 of your stores off of Oxford Street, Canary Wharf, and Covent Garden, so I'm a fan. But before I get ahead of myself, Simone, let's turn over to you so that we can understand a little bit about what the brand is, what your product offering is, as well as what the brand represents.
Thank you, Diana, and good morning to everybody. Very happy to be with you today, also because I lived in Barcelona back in my 20s, so it's a good moment to review some of this. So Kiko Milano is an Italian company that operates in the beauty industries that was founded in 1997. And since the beginning, we disrupted the beauty market by making accessible the high-quality, innovative product to everybody. But when I say accessible, it doesn't mean only value for money. It means inspiring people to express their own individual beauty. It's about self-expression. That's our interpretation of inclusivity and accessibility.
And I think that Milanese beauty is very much a part of your name and also a part of your culture. So tell us a little bit about what distinguishes Milanese beauty.
The beauty industry is quite crowded, as you can imagine, and almost every week is popping up a new brand, most of them created by celebrities around the world, especially in the US, but also in Europe. So, and I believe that what makes us unique is that we own a territory which is the intersection of the 3 major operators in beauty. In beauty, you have the retailers who own the customer relation and talk with customers every day. And we also talk with customers in our 1,100 stores. We talk every day with 300,000 customers. Then you have, on the other extreme, you have the established beauty company that they don't have a D2C approach, but they create brands based on a consumer insight, and they innovate and they create innovative products. And we do also, thanks to the fact that we live in Milano, at the center of the beauty valley. Probably most of you don't know, but in a surrounding area of Milano, like 100 square kilometers, is produced 55% of the cosmetic products that are sold in the world. Being placed there gives us the opportunities to be faster in innovation, to anticipate the trends, and to be very effective and very efficient in our operation. And then the third block are the so-called personality-led beauty, which are brands built by personalities with millions of followers that were able to engage the Gen Z generation, the youngest. So we have the best of the 3, and we sit at the intersection of the 3. Plus, a second element, as you said, our Milano heritage give us a point of differences, which is reflected in our tagline, which is art, beauty, and joy, which are the 3 elements of the Italian and Milanese culture.
Very helpful to understand what exactly are some of the differentiators, given that the beauty space is so crowded. And I want to touch on that a little bit because it does feel like it's an industry that is very much driven by celebrity and by star power. And as you mentioned, every month it feels like there's a new venture that is backed by someone with a famous name. And so why is it that the beauty industry tends to be so driven by this star power? And related to that, what does the appointment of your first ever global brand ambassador, Emma Roberts, do for Kiko Milano? What will that enable you to achieve?
Now, first of all, let me answer to the first part of your question, if you allow me. The beauty industry has been, let's say, successfully driven through all the different turbulences in the market, better than other industries. In a way, it's more resilient. That's why it's keep growing, and it's projected to grow quite healthy in the coming years. One of the main reasons is linked to the confidence, and it's back to the way we establish our purpose, which is that we say that we don't sell beauty, we ignite confidence into the people. And confidence is an element that the more and more the younger generation conquer earlier in their stage of life. And beauty is a way to express their own personality and to give them self-confidence. Then when coming to the why we choose Emma Roberts as the first global ambassador, again, having our DNA in art, beauty, and joy, we wanted to find an ambassador who could embody all these elements with a global, let's say, audience. Because in transforming this brand from a European mass retailer into a global beauty brand, we also felt the need to have one voice speaking with all the potential communities we want to reach globally.
Well, thank you for that. So we've talked a little bit about the supply side of the equation when it comes to the number of beauty brands and what exact space Kiko Milano has carved out for yourself. Now let's talk a little bit about the demand side. So in terms of consumers, so how has the consumer changed in the last 5 years when it comes to their behaviors and their preferences when it is for shopping for beauty?
The bigger difference that the consumer have experienced, our experiences today, is that they shifted from a model of following brands to a model on creating their own stories. So this has been an advantage for a company like us who anticipated these trends by not chasing followers across the different social media, but inspiring creators to create content together with us. Today, especially the Gen Z, but also we see the Alpha generation, so the consumers that today are teenagers, they want to take much more control of the way they express their own individual beauty, rather than following what the brand dictate to them or the looks that the brand dictate to them. It's more about finding ways to express their own individual beauty, even changing their own expression one day to another one, following their mood. And this is called the mood beauty trend.
Very different from occasion beauties, which you're going to a wedding, you're going to a party, and you're dressing for that. Rather, it's based on your mood. Very interesting, and that clearly shows I am not of the Gen Z generation. But we're here on stage today because of the present-day success of Kiko Milano, and the brand has been on an absolute tear. So if we compare 2022 versus 2023 numbers, you're up 20%. So that is a very robust growth. And in addition, you have a very aggressive growth strategy to open 80 new stores by the end of this year. But let's back up a little bit, because it wasn't always like this. Help us understand, what were the historical challenges facing Kiko Milano?
But Kiko Milano, since the beginning, as I said, we're able to provide a high-quality product at a very accessible price, being based at the center of the Beauty Valley. But what probably was not clear is that we could have branded this space. Until 3 years ago, we treated ourselves as a mass retailer, meaning very high on promotion, very high on proliferation of product on the shelf, rather than focusing as a brand on iconic franchise or iconic brands. Today, for example, our iconic product, 3D Hydra, which is a gloss, it weighs already 12% of our sales. It was less than half 3 years ago. When you want to create a brand, you need to start having an iconic franchise that people recognize. Every minute, we sell more than 150 gloss in a world. Every minute that passes. So that's a little bit to give you the scale. The second one is that we were not making ourselves a favor by having heavily promoted a commercial strategy that in a way was impacting the perception of quality. We were already providing high quality, but when you promote your product too much, the consumers start perceiving that your quality is not at the level of other brands. While we were at the same quality of many other luxury brands, simply because we are produced with the same suppliers. So shifting the paradigm from a mass retailer to a global brand, curating better the assortment, having better understanding of which product we want to focus on, curating the innovation of the gem proliferation, gave us a space to gain margin, gross margin, through a revenue management model that probably many of you know what it's about. Gaining gross margin, and we reinvested this gross margin in 4 main elements. The first one is supporting the brand. So investing heavily, creating a creative squad that was investing on social media. What I said before, scouting creators rather than chasing followers. Second one, going as well on classical line TV to gain penetration. The first time we were on TV as a brand. But then starting to expand our footprint, opening in the last 12 years, in the last 24 months, 2 years, we have opened 120 stores. We will open this year 80 stores. By the end of the year, we'll be in 1,200 stores across the 66 countries. So we could expand our geographical footprint. Third one, we went beyond the makeup. At the beginning was Kiko Makeup Milano. We eliminated makeup because we thought that our brand was relevant even in other categories of beauty. Makeup is only 24% of beauty. So we launched the skincare line, we expanded the skincare line. We launched recently an hairstyle line with one of the most famous hairstylists in the world, Rossano Ferretti, which is a partner of Four Seasons and Park Hyatt. So we enter in the different categories. And the fourth one, expanding into our digital strategy. Probably we'll come back later on. Moving away from only being a brick and mortar, expanding online in e-commerce, but then ultimately integrating all the channel with a unified commerce business model.
Well, this is a perfect segue into the crux of the conversation around growth and innovation, because Kiko Milano is at a very exciting juncture right now, where about a month ago you announced that there was a stake being taken by the PE firm L. Catterton. So of those four things that you just mentioned, are those aspects that are being accelerated or being enabled by the investment? And from a consumer perspective, what are some of the new tools, technologies, services, or concept that people can expect as a result of the investment?
I'm very happy that L. Catterton, one of the most relevant private equity with a consumer attitude, let's say, approach globally, has decided to invest with us and has decided to invest on Kiko Milano to accelerate the growth across the four different building blocks that we mentioned before. And I think they will help us, especially in two building blocks. One is the geographical expansion. Today, we are quite weak, even if we doubled the size in the last 2 years in US, but we are very weak. It only weighs for us 1% of the business, while in beauty industry is 30%. For sure, L. Cattertons with the competencies and the penetration and the network in US will help us to accelerate our growth in US. Next to US and other geographies that we see an enormous opportunities for a beauty brand like us is India. India, it could be the rising beauty country in Asia. Probably will be overpassing China over time in terms of size of the beauty industries. But then the other elements where Catherine will help us is accelerating our digital transformation, which is giving us a lot of traction with the customer centricity model in the last 2 years. But there is still a lot of room to accelerate our digital transformation. I'm sure Catherton will help us in doing this.
And let's go to one of the themes that was mentioned on stage earlier about Shop Talk and the unified commerce. So this is something that Kiko Milano has also been undergoing. So can you tell us a little bit about that strategy?
Well, when we started to expand our digital presence, we thought that we had a unique opportunities, especially right after the COVID restrictions were lifted. Because when the COVID restrictions were lifted, the people restarted to come in the stores. And we understood we had a fantastic power to connect the power of human being interaction in our stores. As I said, every day 300,000 customers are entering our stores. At the same time, helping them to have a 360-degree approach and relation with us, thanks to our digital e-commerce and connecting them. When I say connected, is that if you walk in any of our stores, and we have 12 stores here in Barcelona, so I hope you will have opportunities to visit one of all those. We just renovated one in Puerta del Ángel, close to Paseo de Gracia, which is beautiful. Then each of our 7,000 beauty advisors, they engage the relation with customers now, since 1.5 years, with a mobile on the hands. Because in this mobile, the ecosystem that are integrating the customer data platform, the inventory platform, so the order management system stays in a mobile, and the transaction platform stays all here. So by having this platform living in an ecosystem, she can look at all the inventories present in the stores and outside the stores in case there is a shade that we don't have in the specific stores and your skin tone demand a different shade. They will understand through our loyalty program what were your past purchasing and a little bit your behavior, helping you as well to remember what you used to buy maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago. You might not remember what eyeliner did you buy 6 months ago. And at the same time, performing with the tap to pay, the transaction, not going to the cash desk. Some of the time there is a queue at cash desk, and our beauty advisor can perform the transaction in any place of the stores, meaning that during the transaction, you still can introduce some of the lines, some of the new products to our customers. Because before, they were going to the cash desk, and when they are queuing on a cash desk, the transaction is finished, because they just want to pay and leave. If you perform the transaction with a tap to pay in front of a module, so in front of a table when you display your latest collection, you still have got an opportunity to engage a conversation on an additional product. That's why our conversion rate and our UPT, the unit per ticket, they have increased since when we launched our unified commerce powered by the ecosystem I just explained.
Yeah, great. Well, what I think is really interesting is that not only is Kiko Milano really expanding your global footprint, so you mentioned that now you have over 1,000 stores in 66 countries, but you're also gaining increasingly the cultural relevancy, and I'm seeing you in a lot of new places and popping up. And an example is the collaboration with Netflix's Bridgerton, and that was the most popular show that Netflix has ever had. It was #1 in countries as diverse as the US, UK, India, and Brazil. So I wanted to ask, how is Kiko Milano picking these global moments? How are you leaning into and choosing these particular cultural, zeitgeisty things to tap into and really speak to your demographic?
I mean, as I said, the beauty industry is very dynamic. You need to stay in tune with what is happening from an industrial, but also from a customer's behavior perspective. So what we do, we basically have 3 areas where we invest to keep us at speed with the culture. The first one, we have a network of what we call cultural pioneer, where our creative squad, that as I said, we created internally, they connect. There are like 120, 150 people across the globe, that they are a little bit our Ariel, our ears, because they are connected with the social, with all the different trends. So we continuously talk with these cultural pioneers to gain insight of what is happening. The second one, engaging with cultural, let's say, entertaining companies, like you mentioned before. Last year we did with the Disney, The Little Mermaid. This year with Bridgerton, with Netflix. We are the makeup brand of the Bridgerton series. It gives us the opportunities to interact with, let's say, the latest trends in terms of entertaining and cultural moments. But the third one, and most important maybe, we have 7,000 beauty advisors in all our stores, which every day interact with hundreds of thousands of customers. And we build a community that we can't showcase yet, but we build a community where each of the 7,000 can give us insight directly from what is happening in the stores, from an interaction with the customers. And then our marketing team and our retail team look at this cultural club, we call cultural club, in which we gain insight directly from the field. Because most of the time, our beauty advisor, they know what is happening before us.
Yeah, that's so important to have people as the foundation and at the core of your business, and that you're empowering them to enable your customers to be able to express themselves. Now, it's clear that Kiko Milano is at a very exciting point in your transformation and your journey, and that's going to keep on going. And you've got a very full plate in terms of the new product offerings, in terms of the global expansion. But do you have any last words or pieces of advice for the audience today?
No, I think there are, I mean, 2 advices. One is built on a mistake we made, because we need also to be proud about what we learn out of mistakes. And when we started our unified commerce journey, we thought that we could blur the digital and the physical world. So we started to put digital screens into the stores to project your, to enable you to do your, let's say, virtual try-on makeup, to try a look virtually, something that it works perfectly on our e-commerce, where you don't have the opportunities to physically touch the product and to have an interaction with the beauty advisors. So your skin diagnosis, your virtual try-on works. We thought by building videos in a store that we could integrate this, and it was a failure. Because we learned that when a customer stay in our stores, once you interact with a physical product, with a physical human being, and you put a virtual screen in pinot of the stores, you're just disturbing them. So that is what I learned. I mean, sometimes we go too fast on implementing technology, just for the sake to implement technology. And the second one is more about related to what I said on the Gen Z, and it's probably the Gen Alpha, which is the next generation, will be even more. There is a shift paradigm in the way confidence is built into the people, and then the role of a beauty brand. Historically, for many of my generation, but even many generations in the audience, confidence was built with a model which I call outside in. You build your confidence based on what reputation the other have of you. So you build your confidence based on what the others think about you. That's why you wear logos or you do something that you believe project the image you want to project into the others. There is the outside-in model. The younger generation, they have a different confidence build-up model, which is inside out. First, they want to discover what that matters for them internally as an individual. They take much more care about what individually they are, discovering who they are, and then projecting who they are, using the social, again, to project their own individual beauty, caring less about what the others think about them, and caring more about discovering their internal true beauty. This shift in paradigm, if we as a brand are able, and I hope we, and I'm sure we are, to, let's say, intercept better than others, will gain a significant competitive advantage. And maybe it's not only in beauty, maybe it will matter as well other industries.
Well, thank you so much, Simone. That is all the time we have today, but appreciate all the nuggets of wisdom. Thank you again.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you all.